Hello, everybody, and welcome on into the BATX and MLB Player Projections and Props with Derek Carty of EVAnalytics. I'm Thomas Viola of Unabated, and we are so happy to be with you here on this wonderful Thursday morning. Sorry, we're getting off to a little bit of a late start here. And to add to the disappointment for you guys, unfortunately, we also aren't going to be going our usual like 45 to an hour that we've been doing. We'll still try and answer some of your questions, but Derek is in the middle of recovering from his BBL yesterday. So we are cutting the show short just a little bit so that he can go back to rest and up that tuchus here. But thank you guys so much for being with us here. Joshua Smith saying it's time to Carty. Jack Connor says, good morning, everybody. And Jesse Smith reminds us that Snell under on the last show, that was free money, baby.
Nice.
We are back with more. Derek, how are you doing? How are you faring post BBL recovery here?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's a small slate today, so options are pretty limited.
Yeah.
The one that I was all set to do before the show, official lineups came out, and it didn't look as good, so we kind of had to scramble, find another one for you guys. But I think we have one pretty good one today that we've identified.
Yeah, folks, literally the reason we were late was because we were getting set to go live immediately at 7 o'clock. And as that happened, projections changed. And all of a sudden, this guy went up by half a strikeout. And we were like, ooh, we got to change that real quick. So we had to scramble there, but we were able to find some other value for you. And we will still answer some questions in the chat as well. Kaluna. I'm never going to pronounce that right, bro. But he says, hi from Montreal, guys. And Insight follows up with poutine, which is to be expected coming off the Montreal comment there. But Derek, let's get into it with our one prop that we've got going for us here. It's over on Betway, and we're going to look at it through the EVAnalytics screen because for now, we're looking at hits, runs, RBIs, and Unabated prop simulator doesn't have them quite yet, but that's a little bit of a hint here of what's to come when I say quite yet. We're working on some things. We're cooking up some special things for you guys in the lab right now. I'll tell you that much.
Yep. So we are looking at Gio Urshela under 1.5 hits, runs plus RBIs. It's been going down in a few books already, but it's going to be pretty much good, wherever. But the best line right now is at Betway plus 135. I mean, he's facing a kind of an unknown pitcher today in Jack Leiter. He's making his debut. But this is a real big time prospect. Could be good. It's possible projections are even underrating him a little bit. The back kind of likes his under strikeouts today, which I'm a little wary to actually bet, just because a lot of times with these, high stuff prospects, like with the minor league data that we have to work with, it doesn't give a complete picture of the guy. So he could even be better than the projections giving him credit for. And it still likes the under here for Shella. Under and it's a 1.5 at plus money. It's not even like an 0.5 where if he gets a hit, like it's over. Like he's got to get two things here. He needs a double, he needs a hit and a run. He needs, like one hit doesn't cut it, and it's plus 135. So I like this one quite a bit. Urshela is not a very good hitter to begin with. So this looks like the best bet out there to me today.
And this is one of the things that we love to talk about. We love to talk about betting unders. And I had a Tyrese Maxey under last night in the NBA, and it's like you feel weird betting on the big players to go under, but in cases like this, especially, it really, really does help you when it comes to what we're betting on with baseball, because hits, it's not like they're actually that common. You look at it and you're like, oh, 1.5 bases, like that's easy. It's not that easy, and guys don't get there all the time. Like it's especially in baseball, you can play these unders and be looking at that and really be feeling good about it, because the other thing is the public loves betting overs, and that definitely helps, especially in the prop markets. Like you see inflated value on unders, and in a sport like baseball where you fail more than 70% of the time at the plate on average, like we love hearing about unders, right, Derek?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more ways to hit unders, especially for, hitters that aren't especially good, like Gio Urshela. This projects to win 55% of the time, which is pretty good for plus 135. Someone in chat's asking like if about other numbers like plus 115, I think is still fine. I think the other way you can play this one is a lot of books have his singles market, which looks pretty good. You can get under half a single for like plus 150, plus 155, which I think I would prefer that to the hits, runs, RBIs at 115. But I think either one is still going to have value.
Yeah, and you just have to accept when you take that singles one, you're going to have more variance here. Like it's plus 150, it's less likely to happen, but you know, you're still getting a better price than what it should be. And shout out to Insight for being price conscious and not just saying, "Oh, well, they said this stat, I'm going to go bet it at whatever price it is," because that's the thing. We harp on it all the time, and we're going to continue harping on it all through MLB season here, is that price matters so much when it comes to these props. Just because we like a prop at plus 130 doesn't mean we like it at plus 110. Like,
yeah, I think that's the big thing that like people who are new to betting don't understand. Like, they hear a tout say, "Oh, I like Gio Urshela under today." It's like, okay, well, it's not that I think Gio Urshela is definitely not going to get a hit today. It's that I think his chances of getting a hit compared to the implied chance of the line gives us value. You know, if this was under 1.5, you know, minus 300. I'm definitely not betting that one.
yeah.
So it's all about the implied probability. So you can I mean, for every single bet, there's a line where I will like it at the under and I will like it at the over. Like, it's not like I have this hard stance that I hate Gio Urshela today, he's not getting a hit. It's not like that at all. You know, I would bet the over on this if we were given the right line. So it's just all about the implied probability.
Exactly. Like that is what matters in betting on props, because we're not out here trying to predict the future. We're not saying, "Oh, he's going to go over this or under this." We're saying, "Hey, he's more likely to go under this than what the price on it is." And that's what creates value in the market. And that's what we're trying to go after here. Daniel Badu on Instagram asking, any 3 legs, bro? I would recommend staying away from parlays, especially in the props market. Bet things straight up, my friend. You're going to have more success over the long term. I know it's tough to hold off from that, from that risk a little to win a lot perspective on it, but that would be my advice to you. Meanwhile, Derek Davenport asked about Jack Leiter, the call up, and you already talked about him, but a couple people here. Peter Lowe was saying, what was the play anyways that you guys were scratching? And John C. reading our minds here, because he says no Yoshida/Devers change much for Carrasco for anything. And that is exactly who we were looking at when it comes to the original play here. We were looking at his under on strikeouts, but that absolutely did change things. And it brought up his metric by like a half strikeout, and it completely threw out the play for us and ruined the value on it. So there you go. That was Peter. That was the play. And John answers that perfectly. All right. So that is what we like today as far as trying to find some value on this small slate. But guys, throw in questions for just a couple minutes. We'll stick around for a little while because, hey, we love you guys. We love you being here each and every day. But Derek really is being a trooper today. So we are going to cut it a little bit short. But throw some questions in the chat for now. And I will remind you, be sure to check out unabated.com because we have the BATX. I will say, the engineering team they're very busy. They're very overworked right now, but they are working on taking off that beta tag on the BATX because the reality is it's not in beta anymore. Like, we have everything synced up so you can get all of Derek Carty's projections right here on the on the Unabated prop simulator. And it is super easy to use. As you can see, they all just come through for you right here like this. If you're watching this on Instagram, check out unabated.com. You can get a demo if you just go and click on the link in our bio, and I will be the one sitting down with you to give you a demo and walk you through all the tools here. That is a name. I'm not even gonna. That is too long for me to say. But you are asking anything decent in the first game of the day. See, that's a long name there. Anything decent in the first game of the day, looking for something while you're at work. What do we have on the morning slate here? What do we have? Kenta Maeda is a no-go. Carrasco's really a no-go.
The first game is that Texas Detroit game. So yeah, if you can get the Urshela bet, I mean, that's my favorite one in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, The bet does technically like the under on lighter strikeouts. I don't think I trust that we have enough data to really lean into that one, but you can if you want. Yeah, what else is the simulator showing? Carson Kelly, it looks like his under looks okay.
Yeah. Like it's on the low end of playable, and you're looking at under a half at plus 125 on his total bases. So you're hoping he doesn't get on base today, but like it's playable. If you really are looking for something that you want to sweat out, you can take that and you're still making a plus EV bet.
Yeah, but normally that's below the threshold I like to bet. And on
Yeah.
a day like this where we only have, what is it, 5 games or something like that, I just don't bet as much as I would on a full slate. I don't force the action. If you want it for fun, obviously go right ahead. But if your goal is profitability, like some days you just say, all right, there's not a lot on the board and that's fine. I'll wait till tomorrow.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, let's take a look. Let's take a look in. I'm going to hop out of that account real quick and hop into my other account so that I can pull it up. But maybe we'll pull up the main screen and see if there's any value on the slate there. No. Not seeing anything on the well, if you're in New Jersey, you got Profit Exchange and you got some value on the Guardians over the Red Sox today. That would be what I'd be looking at. All right. We've got a couple more questions here, and then we will head in. Oh, dang. Wants to know, thank you guys. For the expected value indicator on EVAnalytics, what is your threshold to bet, Derek? Also, I know that I've talked with you before. That's such a great name, man. Oh, dang.
Yeah, so I don't have like any hard and fast rules where I'm definitely going to bet it at this or definitely not. Like it's always a case by case basis. Like the lighter one today, I think depending on the line, that's going to be a 5-star. That's going to be a 5-star bet with a pretty good differential between the implied and the actual projection. One like that, I want to see a bigger gap on, just because it's a rookie. We don't know a lot about him. Doesn't know that much about his stuff yet. Whereas other ones, maybe my threshold is lower. So I'm definitely sticking more to like the 4 and the 5-star stuff, but I'm not betting all of them. I'm being selective based on kind of what else I know about the bet.
Yeah, that is a very important thing to have. Like it's a little bit of the element of ball knowing that does come into play and that you do need. One pick wants to know, for someone who has created the projections, how do you suggest calculating your edge? I.e., you project 5.72 strikeouts for Webb and the line at 4.5 is minus 160. I mean, I'd say you use the prop simulator, but what do you say?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the way I do it is kind of the way the prop simulator is doing it, where I'll have in the background, I can see all the numbers basically, and I can say, okay, well, given that projection, what's the percentage of time that he's going to go either over or under the 4.5 line? Then, okay, what's the implied win percent of the implied break even on minus 160? And then you can kind of compare that together and say, okay, at 5.72 strikeouts, the implied probability of minus 160 is this. Let's see if I can actually pull up the numbers, and then that'll be easier to actually use real numbers instead of just trying to make something up off the top of my head. Okay, so chance of going over 4.5 at that projection is about 63%. And so if you're getting minus 160, your expected value on that's about 4%, 5%, which is not great. So I would probably look for something better than that.
Yeah, that is what I would be looking at there too. The next question comes from Mitch M. I see more books offering head-to-head player props, especially for pitchers. Have you looked much into those, Derek?
I haven't. I actually had a user asking me about them yesterday. There's got to be value on those. I haven't had much chance to look into it or to run any math on it, but I would think there's definitely going to be some soft lines in there.
Yeah, I mean, anytime that there's new props, anytime that you're dealing with something that books haven't done before, like it's an inefficient market, and you are going to be able to, like, if you dig into it, you are going to be able to find edges. That's the nature of the beast when it comes to new props and new things coming out. It's if something new comes out, that's the first place you should be looking for edges, because the books don't know what, like, it's out in the wild, and they're not going to be as efficient on those markets right off the bat.
Yeah.
That's the best time. It's like when the DraftKings Pick 6 tool got announced, and they were like, it's pari-mutuel payouts. Every sharp in the world was like, well, I'm just going and betting unders because it's all this public money coming in on overs, and they knew that they had an edge there. That's dried up now, but that's what I'm talking about. CP wants to know, for bets that are correlated, example Ks, outs, hits, total bases, etc., how would you go about picking the one bet that influences the strongest? I feel like, I mean, you're looking at variance a little bit here, right?
Yeah. So if I'm only going to bet one, I'm generally going to look and see which one has the biggest expected value. But I don't think you have to just bet the one. You can bet all of them. You can bet the hits, the total base. A lot of times hits and total base, if it's 0.5, it's literally the same bet. So I wouldn't do that. But the hits, the runs plus RBIs, like the singles, if we're talking about with Urshela today, you can bet all of them if they're all showing good value. I just wouldn't bet a full unit on each of them because they are so correlated. Like maybe normally if you bet one unit on just one of the bets, maybe if you're betting three of them, bet a third of a unit on each to kind of spread out the variance a little bit. That's the one. There's no right answer, but that's, I think, a reasonable way to approach it.
Yeah, that's how, like, I was talking with Captain Jack about this during football season because, like, the urge when you have teasers is to be breaking them up and betting into a bunch of different teasers because, like if you have 5 legs of Wong teaser ability, you want to do like your 5 leg and then break it up into a bunch of different 3 legs. But if you play the same unit, like if you play each of those for one unit, you're massively over betting that edge that you have on each individual leg. You have to treat it as each edge is one unit. And then if you're going to play that 5 times, you've got to break that up into fifths of a unit. That's how you got to think of it when it comes to betting on correlated things like that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for us here today. I know it's a short one, but we will be back next week. Oh, John C. has one more question for us. We'll let him in on the wire here. When trying to predict daily lineups, what resource do you use? What resource do you use for lineups if you're willing to divulge that information, Carty?
Yeah, I get my lineups feed, my projected lineups feed from Roto Grinders, where the bat runs for DFS. They have guys who manually every day they do it. They do a really good job. So that's what the bat uses. You always have to be aware that sometimes weird stuff's going to happen. Rafael Devers and Yoshida sit today, and then if you bet Carrasco early, now you're looking at value that's not as good as it should have been. But that's kind of the nature of the beast, and it can cut both ways.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a lineup that's better than you were hoping for.
Exactly. And so, like, it does wash over the course of 162 games, it does wash out in the rain a little bit. And the other thing is, it's not like lineups aren't as big of a deal in baseball as they are in like basketball, where you're waiting. Like, I wait to put in my basketball props until 3 p.m. because I'm waiting on lineup news because that happens all the time there. But that is going to do it for us here. Thank you guys so much. Again, we apologize that it's a short show today. We'll be back with our regularly scheduled full programming in its entirety next week. And how about this? I enjoy being able to throw up the names now because we're no longer simulcasting to the different YouTube channels. So it's actually bringing the comments in for us. So when people have questions now, you're going to be able to see yourself on screen. I'm loving that feature already, and we'll be using that plenty more. Thank you guys so much for being with us. Don't forget, on the Unabated Live YouTube channel here, throw us that follow if you're not following already so that you never miss a message, never miss a notification. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll be here with Adam Shear, your coworker over at EVAnalytics, talking about NBA props for the Friday playoff slate. We'll be looking forward to having you guys here then. And as always, head on over to unabated.com where you can check out Derek's projections for the bat. You can get your subscription to the bat and then link the 2 accounts, and then it's just going to come through in your feed. It's going to be super, super easy to use. You don't have to mess with any spreadsheets, anything like that. You can just get the projections, run your simulators, find your value, and start making some money. We love having you guys. We love being here. If you want to get a demo of the Unabated Toolkit, all that we have to offer, the prop simulator, the main odds screen, everything, I will personally sit down with you. I'll throw you a 5-day free trial as well. Just sign up for a demo with our link, calendly.com/unabated. It's in the description of this video as well. You can also, we have the description to get the BATX projections in this video as well. Just check the description of the link. If you're watching us on Instagram, thank you so much for being here with us there. Follow us on Instagram as well. We appreciate you all being here. That is going to do it for today. Best of luck, everybody. And as always, let's cash some tickets. We'll see you next time, folks.